by likes, followers, and social circles, there stands a rare kind of man. One who walks alone, not out of necessity, but by choice. This is the story of a man who has found true strength in solitude. A man who has found that real security isn't found in the crowd, but within himself. What makes him different? He's discovered that true peace, true freedom, comes not from the validation of others, but from knowing his own worth. This is what it means to be unshakable. When we talk about a man who doesn't need a crowd around him, who finds strength without leaning on friendship, we're talking about a man who has learned to stand on his own. A man without friends is one who has discovered a certain kind of strength and peace within himself that many may never experience. This isn't about being cold, distant, or a loner for the sake of it. It's about someone who's secure in who he is. Someone who has learned to walk his path without needing others to validate or reassure him. In a world where everyone is shouting to be seen, to be heard, to be liked, a man who can stand apart is rare. Most people fear silence. They fear solitude, afraid of their own company, because they're terrified of what they might find. But a man who's at ease with himself is different. He's spent time in that silence. He's looked in the mirror and faced what he sees, the good and the bad. He's asked himself the hard questions, the ones most avoid, and he's found his answers not from seeking approval, but from searching deep within himself. He's secure because he doesn't search outward for things that can only be found inside. A man who stands alone, at peace with it, understands the strength in solitude. When you're alone, just you and your thoughts, there's no mask, no pretending, no need to perform for anyone. You're stripped down to who you truly are, and that's where the power lies. A man secure in himself doesn't need people around to define him. He doesn't seek constant validation, approval, or applause. He's not waiting for someone else to give him permission to feel worthy. And because he isn't caught up in trying to fit in or be liked, he's free to be his true self, to grow in his own way, to develop an unshakable confidence in who he is. Friendships can be beautiful, don't get me wrong. There is value in companionship, in sharing moments, in laughter. But a secure man understands that his worth isn't measured by the number of friends he has or his popularity. He isn't keeping score. He focuses on the bigger picture, a purpose unswayed by social dynamics or the pressure to conform just to keep others around. He's committed to his growth, his vision, and his principles. If others come along who align with that, great. But he doesn't seek approval or try to surround himself with people just to avoid being alone. He knows that true peace can't be measured by the number of people in his corner. Solitude is his teacher, his guide. When a man has the courage to sit with himself, he learns truths about who he is that a crowd could never reveal. He understands his fears, his strengths, his weaknesses. And once he's faced those parts of himself, no one can shake him. He doesn't need anyone to fill gaps or mask insecurities. He's worked through them, faced them head on. And that's where his strength lies. It's a strength that comes from within, not from the praise or presence of others. A secure man understands that the wrong friendships can weaken him. Relationships with conflicting values, those who disrespect boundaries, or those who bring drama and unnecessary complications. A wise man avoids being caught up in that. He's selective because he values his peace too much to risk it on relationships that don't serve him. Sometimes that means walking a quieter, more solitary path, but that solitude is rich, meaningful, and peaceful. A man like that isn't without empathy or the ability to connect. He connects deeply when he chooses to, but he's not eager to share himself with just anyone. He values his time, energy, shares those paths. When he does let someone in, it's because they've shown respect for who he is and what he stands for. He's not interested in shallow connections. He's looking for depth, respect, and authenticity. And if that's not present, he's perfectly content being on his own. Society often tries to tell us that being alone is a flaw, something to be fixed or avoided, but a secure man knows better. He knows that standing alone is sometimes exactly what's needed to grow, to understand his worth, and to build himself from the inside out.